Hey everyone, welcome to Beyond the Gates. I'm Alessio, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you love Beyond the Gates, then you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Alright, let's dive right in. You ever have one of those days where everything changes? Not because you planned it, but because life just decided to rip the floor out from under you? That's what happened the day Doug died. The whole town of Fairmont Crest showed up to cry, but the truth is, not everyone there was mourning. Some were hiding. Some were plotting. While Vanessa clung to Joey for comfort, Joey was busy deleting the one thing that could expose him. And me? I walked in on my sister sitting across from the man I thought I'd lost, the man I still loved. By the time the night was over, secrets were out, hearts were broken, and one man was marked to disappear. This is the story of how love, guilt, and revenge collided, and how somehow I ended up right in the middle of it. Kat and Tomas declare their love. Plus, is Joey about to have killed? I don't even know where to begin. Maybe with the sound of that song playing at Doug's memorial, the one Vanessa chose. I think it was Bridge Over Troubled Water, and I swear, it felt like the entire town of Fairmont Crest was holding its breath as the first note played. Doug wasn't perfect, we all knew that, but standing there, watching his widow clutch a folded program in trembling hands, even I felt something crack inside me. The truth is, Doug's death didn't just take him away. It rearranged people, shattered them, and maybe in a way it set some of us free. Joey didn't come to the memorial. Of course, he didn't. People said it was out of respect, but I know Joey Armstrong better than that. If Joey skips an event, it's not because he's being polite. It's because he's planning something. And sure enough, later that afternoon, while Vanessa was still surrounded by people offering their empty condolences, Joey showed up. Not at the church, not at the cemetery, but in the quiet, right outside the reception hall, like a shadow that doesn't want to be seen, but also doesn't want to be forgotten. I saw him talking to her from a distance. The look on Vanessa's face was strange, a mix of grief and confusion, like she couldn't tell whether Joey was comforting her or cornering her. Their words were too low to hear, but I caught the way Joey leaned in, too close, whispering something that made her blink hard and look away. That's when Leslie appeared. That woman has a talent for walking in at the most inconvenient times, introducing herself to Joey as if this was some casual meet and greet, not a moment dripping with danger. That's Fairmont Crest for you. Secrets dressed up in smiles. Lies perfumed with lilies. But while the town whispered about Vanessa and Joey, my story that day was unfolding somewhere else, at the country club, where everything always looks perfect, even when everything is falling apart. Tomas was there, sitting alone at a small corner table. He had that brooding look he gets when he's thinking too much. The kind of look that used to draw me in like a magnet and scare me at the same time. I wasn't there yet, not until Eva, my sister, showed up first. Yeah, my sister. Eva. That's the problem with sisters. They know exactly where to aim when they want to hurt you. I heard later what she said to him. She told him she understood why he couldn't connect with me in bed, said it was my fault. That I was too closed off, too guarded, too afraid to let anyone really see me. She thought she was helping him process things. But Eva doesn't do anything unless she gets something out of it. When I finally walked in and saw her sitting there, with her perfectly crossed legs and Tomas staring at the table like he'd rather vanish, I knew instantly what kind of game she was playing. I could feel the tension crackling in the air before a word was even spoken. The sunlight spilling through the tall windows made everything look sharper, like reality itself was leaning in to watch. Eva turned toward me, with that smug little smile of hers. "Oh, Kat," she said. "We were just talking about you." Her tone was sweet as syrup, but her eyes, they were sharp. I wanted to walk away, to just leave. But something in Tomas's face made me stay, that flicker of guilt, maybe. Or regret. Or both. He stood up slowly, trying to find words. "Kat," he started, "I need to be honest." That's how all heartbreak starts, with someone saying they need to be honest. He told Eva, in front of me, that he'd crossed a line with her, that he shouldn't have and that it meant nothing, but he wanted to be decent enough to say it out loud. I could feel my heart trying to climb up my throat. Eva tilted her head, like she was enjoying the show. "Oh, Tomas," she said, "don't make it sound worse than it was. We were two people trying to make sense of being unwanted." That's when I snapped. "Unwanted," I said. "You were my sister. He was my man. And you call that making sense?" I think the whole club turned to look at us. People love watching other people's lives implode, especially in Fairmont Crest. Eva smirked and shrugged. "If you were really what he wanted, Kat, I wouldn't have been able to get close at all." That line, that one sentence, burned me from the inside out. But Tomas didn't stay silent. He stepped between us, his voice breaking just a little. "Stop," he said. "Eva, stop. You're right, I hurt you. But it wasn't because I wanted you. It was because I was running from her. From what I actually felt." He turned to me then, and I'll never forget the look in his eyes. "Kat is what I want. What I've always wanted." I was just too scared to admit it. For a second, no one said a word. Even Eva froze. And then she laughed, that cold, brittle laugh that sounds like glass cracking. "Well," she said, picking up her purse, "I guess that makes me the fool again. Standing next to Kat always makes me feel frigid anyway." And just like that, she left. I didn't chase after her this time. I didn't apologize or beg or try to fix it. For once, I just stood there, with Tomas beside me, and let it all burn down. When we left the club, the air felt heavy, like it had rained somewhere nearby, even though the sky was still dry. I remember walking with him to his car, my hands shaking so badly, I shoved them into my pockets so he wouldn't see. "Kat," he said softly, "I meant what I said in there." I looked at him, searching his face. "About me being what you want?" He nodded. "About you being what I need." The words hit me in a way I wasn't ready for. I wanted to believe him, but I'd been here before, promises made under the weight of guilt. But this time, his eyes didn't shift away. He wasn't hiding. "I'm not easy to love," I told him. He smiled, a small, tired smile. "Neither am I." And right there, in the fading light of the parking lot, surrounded by the faint hum of life going on without us, he kissed me. It wasn't passionate or dramatic. It was soft, real, the kind of kiss that says, "I see you. I'm here." That was the night Tomas and I declared our love. Not in some big speech. Not with music or flowers. Just two people, standing in the wreckage of what used to be, deciding to try again. But while I was finally finding my footing, Joey Armstrong was digging a grave, maybe literally. At the police station, Danielle, Doug's son, came to see Jacob. Poor kid. You could see the grief written all over him, the kind that comes from questions that never get answered. "Did my dad suffer?" he asked. I wasn't there, but later Jacob told me, his voice cracked halfway through the sentence. Marcel, Detective Marcel Malone, was sitting a few desks away, listening. He shouldn't have been, but Marcel's always had a soft spot for that family. Jacob told Danielle not to blame himself. "Nobody could have saved Doug," he said. But Danielle kept staring at the photos from the crash, his fingers tracing the outlines of twisted metal like he was trying to make sense of it. Meanwhile, Joey was somewhere else, watching footage of Doug's last night at the casino. Watching it over and over. And when the camera caught Doug talking to someone in the corner, someone Joey didn't want anyone else to see, I think that's when he decided. "Looks like I'm going to have to make Detective Marcel Malone disappear," Joey said out loud. And when Joey says something like that, it's never a metaphor. The next morning, Joey walked right into the station, bold as ever, holding a flash drive like it was a gift. "Thought you'd want to see this," he told Danielle and Vanessa. "It's Doug's last night at the casino." They watched it, not knowing what was missing, not realizing that the footage had been spliced, that what they were seeing wasn't really Doug's final night there. Joey had erased someone. A whole conversation. And the worst part? Nobody suspected a thing. At the other side of town, life kept moving. Nicole was hosting Dani and Chelsea, two women who never agree on anything but somehow always end up in the same room. Carlton was there too, trying to charm everyone like he always does. He told them this story about how he and Nicole met, some ridiculous fairy tale version that had everyone laughing, even though we all knew it wasn't true. Dani leaned over and whispered to Chelsea, "He's a good one. I prefer him to the cowardly lion." It was a rare moment of lightness in a week that had been so heavy. But even that peace didn't last long. Before the night was over, Nicole confronted Dani about her impulsive Vegas wedding to Andre. Chelsea tried to mediate, but Dani, fiery as ever, said, "I don't always know what I'm doing until it's already done. But I'm happy." Chelsea just looked at her and said, "Then treat that promise like it means something. Because it does." Those words hung in the air like smoke, the kind that lingers long after the flame is gone. Back in my apartment that night, I sat by the window with a glass of wine, thinking about everything that had happened. Doug's death. Joey's manipulation. My sister's betrayal. Tomas's confession. It was too much, and yet somehow, it felt like life was finally starting to make sense again, painfully, imperfectly, beautifully real. I texted Tomas. "Still up?" He replied, "Always for you." And for the first time in a long time, I believed him.